Hey everybody, it's Dave here from Dragonhill Games, and you're watching This Week in MTG Finance. As always, and before we get started, I want to thank MTG Stocks for allowing us to use graphical information for the purposes of this video. Well, here we have another week that's been entirely about the reserve list. In fact, all of the top 10 cards on our list are from said list. Essentially, we're still just kind of in a holding pattern while we wait for Zendikar Rising. Bunch of spoilers coming at us from that. But it's odd that we're also getting spoilers from Commander Legends, which is not until sort of mid to end of October. So we're getting spoilers coming at us from every direction. There's going to be a lot of stuff moving the market over the next few weeks and months. All right, let's dive right into our top 10 list, and we're going to start right here with Intuition from Tempest. Taking up the number 10 spot, Intuition has traditionally been a fairly safe investment as far as reserve list cards go. In fact, it almost made my list of top 10 safest investments from the reserve list. If you're interested in checking up that video, I'll put that in the top right hand corner. You can go ahead and have a look. The only reason it didn't quite make the list was because I really didn't like this range here from about 2018 to about 2020. There was about a 2-year range there where this card kind of just went downhill, and it felt pretty bad having this card here around $45 if you bought it over here around 70 or 72, something like that. What I did like about this card, and what I do like going forward, is that the lows on this card, or support levels, have always been traditionally higher than the previous support levels, and the new resistance levels have always met new highs as well. So this card does have a good sort of long-term investment type track. I really do like it. Gets a lot of play in Commander. In fact, it appears in over 5,500 decks, which is quite a few, considering that it can really only be played obviously in something that plays blue. Really good effect for Commander. You search out 3 cards from your library, show them to an opponent, he gives you one of them, and then you put the other 2 in your graveyard, and then you shuffle your graveyard into your library. So it's got that sort of shuffle effect on it as well. Can obviously be really useful in the right type Commander decks, and Intuition is up 122% this week. Now, our number 9 winner is a little bit interesting to me in that Recurring Nightmare from Exodus is one of 2 cards on our list this week that's on the reserve list that's also banned in Commander. Currently valued at $75, and this is up a whopping 150% this week. And it's clear why something like this would be banned in Commander. For 3 mana, we get an enchantment, we can sack a creature, and return Recurring Nightmare to our hand, and then put a creature from our graveyard directly into play. This could be very easily abused in something like Commander. But I also find it interesting that this card is seeing so much attention and has such a massive spike, considering it's not playable in Commander. I've made it very clear that I'm only interested in investing in cards from the reserve list that are both playable and played in Commander. Coming in at number 8, we have Season of the Witch from the Dark, currently valued at $33.25, and I think this one will be up a lot more even next week. It's up 166% this week, but I just headed over to eBay, and I couldn't find a listing under $40 with a buy it now option. Season of the Witch from the Dark, 3-mana enchantment. At the end of each player's turn, if they didn't attack with a creature that could attack, they have to destroy it, and you pay 2 mana during your upkeep or sacrifice Season of the Witch. I play this in my Stacks deck. Can really make for some interesting games in Commander. And our number 7 winner this week is Carrion from Mirage, currently valued at $16, and this thing's up 192% this week. Carrion is a 3-mana instant where we can sack a creature, and then we put a number of 0/1 black creature tokens into play equal to the sacrificed creature's power. Seems kind of limited in something like Commander. In fact, if we head over to EDH Rec, it gets almost no play. So it's interesting to see a card that gets such little play in Commander and definitely has limited uses getting so much attention this week. Our number 6 winner is the Village Bicycle of land cards. That's right, it's Rainbow Veil from Fallen Empires, currently valued at $17.50, and this thing's up 253% this week. Just a couple of weeks ago, it was like a $3 card. This card's had a wild ride over the years. I remember selling off a bunch of these in this spike around 2017, 2018, and it had a massive decrease over the course of the last few years. Here we are on another huge spike, up 253% this week. Would be really good in like a CEDH type deck because you can tap it for mana of any color the turn it comes into play. If you're planning on winning really quickly, like a turn 2, turn 3 deck, it may not matter that you have to give this land to one of your opponents at the end of your turn. Well of Knowledge was one of our big winners last week, and here we go again, up another 271% to $18.50. Interesting alternative way to win with something like Labman or Jace. If you're able to generate infinite mana during your draw step, you can just go ahead, draw your whole deck, and win the game. Our number 4 winner's been on our list in weeks past, and here it is again, up another 354%. That's right, it's Falling Star from Legends, currently valued at $250, and this thing isn't playable anywhere. In fact, it's banned in every format. It's one of those cards where you like flip it from a certain height and it does stuff when it lands on the table. Really kind of a silly card. Was a fun way to play Magic back in the day when Magic wasn't taken so seriously and tournaments and things like that weren't really involved. But these days, these sort of flip from a certain height, the Chaos Orbs of the world and stuff like that just aren't really playable in any format. So this card really is 100% collector driven, and the only way I would ever touch a card like this as if it was a highly graded card from a reputable company. This is 100% collector price. So if you have, even a lightly played one of this, down the road, people are going to be much less interested and play much less than they would for a graded card. I gotta be honest, our number 3 winner this week, Grim Feast from Mirage, kind of flew under my radar a little bit. This card is actually quite good. For 3 mana in the Golgari colors, we get an enchantment at the beginning of our upkeep. It deals 1 damage to us. However, this has been errata to say, whenever a creature is put into an opponent's graveyard from play, we gain amount of life equal to that creature's toughness. Pretty good, especially in casual type commander decks. Currently valued at $26. This thing was just a $2 card last week, and it's up 594% this week. Our number 2 winner this week, Radiant Archangel from Urza's Legacy, is up 925% to nearly $50. This thing is absolutely terrible. I mean, I guess it could be played in some sort of Flyers Matter deck, but for 5 mana, we're getting a 3/3 Vigilance Angel that gets +1/+1 for each other creature with flying in play. Like I said, pretty bad card. I guess it could be okay in some sort of casual Flyers sort of Matter deck, but this illustrates how much people are just grasping at straws here, grabbing up cheap reserve list cards. This card is never really going to see a lot of play, especially in something like Commander. It will never get any play in something like Legacy or Vintage. So it's sort of silly that this card's carrying a price tag of nearly $50. And our number 1 winner, Northstar from Legends, is up 1,585% to $373. Kind of a crazy card. Doesn't really see much play in Commander. For 4 mana, we get an artifact that essentially we can pay for and tap, and it turns the casting cost of 1 spell into generic mana. So we can spend any color mana to cast that spell. This card gets almost 0 play in Commander, and this is clearly a buyout type situation. In fact, if we head on over to eBay and have a look, there's only 2 listed on there with the buy it now option, and both of those are graded copies. In fact, if we go over to sold and completed items, we can see that over the course of the last couple of days, this has been completely bought out on eBay. Most of the buyout happened between the 27th and 29th. In fact, people were even buying graded copies for around $130 just a couple of days ago. So clearly buyout situation. Card doesn't really see any play in Commander, probably never will see any play in Commander. Northstar up a whopping 1,585% this week. And before I get to cards I'm investing in this week, as always, if you're a subscriber, you know I want to thank you for being here. I really appreciate your support. And if not, now's a great time to go ahead and hit that subscribe button. I post at least 2 videos every week. I really like Grim Lavamancer from Double Masters at just 84 cents. This card is a bargain. Grim Lavamancer usually sits around the $5 to $10 range. However, it's had a lot of reprints lately between Jumpstart and now, of course, the Double Masters reprints. There's a lot of them out there. It gets played in Modern and Legacy, and then, of course, in some Commander decks. Usually it's just a 1 or 2 of in most decks, or even in the sideboards. So since there's so much out there being in the rare slot with all these reprints lately, the price has been really depressed. But even if this one goes up to the $2 mark, you're still doubling your money on Grim Lavamancer. Up next, we have Savala Heart of the Wilds. This card is a great deal at just $18.50 for the Jumpstart version. Both of the other versions, Mystery Booster printed more recently at $21, and Conspiracy Take the Crown around $26. Savala is a classic commander card, really good for ramping out in green. There'll always be a ton of demand for this card, and this particular Jumpstart version has a lot of upside potential. Now, I mentioned Zaxara the Exemplary a couple of months ago when it was around the $7 mark. I liked it at that price, and we've seen a little bit of downside from there. However, it's starting to level out around the $5.50 mark, and I don't expect to see any more downward pressure on Zaxara from here. Most or all of the Commander 2020 product has been opened by this point. Seems unlikely we would have a reprint on Zaxara anywhere soon, so a lot of upside potential for Zaxara from here. If we head on over to EDH Rec, it appears in over 1,000 decks as a commander, and it almost cracks into the top 100, so there's definitely some popularity there. Perfect time to be picking up Zaxara at around $5.50. And finally, we have our value pick for the week. That's right, it's Teferi Time Raveler, the guy everybody loves to hate from War of the Spark. Currently valued at an all-time low of $12.25. A great time to be picking up this card, even if you just need it for your own collection. Teferi's had quite a bit of downward pressure lately, especially since the banning in Standard, but he gets played in hundreds of decks in virtually every format. There'll never be a better time to pick up Teferi Time Raveler than there is right now. All right, I really hope you guys enjoyed this episode of This Week in MTG Finance. If you did, go ahead and smash that like button. It really helps me out. And if you're looking for a way to help support Dragonhill Games, the YouTube channel, you can check out our online marketplace at www.dragonhillgames.com. You can also find a link for that in the description of this video. Of course, we have all your favorite board games, role-playing games, fantasy miniatures, and then MTG product. We just put up pre-orders for Commander Legends, so if that's something you're interested in pre-ordering, go ahead and check that out. And we just got a restock on Jumpstart boosters. So again, if that's something you're interested in, then head on over to dragonhillgames.com. All right, bye for now.